how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to Essence by Fola. Today it's totally different. We're talking about love and Valentine. So I have someone special. We're going to be talking about some interesting tips and ideas as to how to navigate, but from a singles perspective. So hang in there while we get into this. Hello you, yes, I mean you. You are special and you're valued. And today we have Dominic. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. You spoke about something. You said, you have this conflict and then you tell your spouse or your girlfriend or fiancé or whatever that, babe, let's talk, like let's resolve this. That way, you're a man as well. So
yeah.
Because like if you've had girlfriends before, find out you're not married yet, right? At times, like when you kind of feel, let me just have a little bit of fun. I'm not ready yet, let her just want me a bit, and then before things get settled. But when you come to the table to have the conversation, 9 times out of 10. Don't you have that 50-50 chance? No, not 50-50. The 80-20 chance that the conversation will happen.
Yes. Now I try to think if there's any time I've had that, and it did not happen. I think every time I've tried to talk with the lady and say, okay, like let's. It always comes. Now I can't speak from the female perspective, but I know what you mean. And maybe it's usually because there's more willingness. Maybe from ladies in general. I don't know. But I think if both sides are willing, it's the willingness, right? Why one side may or may not, maybe it differs from person to person. But every time that I have tried to talk to the lady,
it always, you see, 100%. I was at 80-20, so it was always 100%.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
you see what I mean? But you see what? The thing is, I guess there's never like one silver bullet. Nothing works 100%. I'm just talking about what I have seen from experience. I know that someone from our audience also, she wants to say something. So, what do you think?
I think that borders on the culture
as well. Okay.
If you're dealing with a person that is, not from West Africa or Africa, it doesn't necessarily mean when the man wants to talk, that's when it's 100%, because this society is not set up that way. So that can happen in certain places because of the culture and the way life is, the way the roles have played out, So that was just my
your pitch. That's a great point. And again, as I said before, with relationships and with people, it differs. There's never like no one size fit all. However, just trying to get an angle from like an average or generalist perspective as to what you think or what would apply and all of that. And so much. Thank you so much, Dominic. Is there any questions you have for me before, I think I've got a couple more, but what questions do you have for me?
Well, it's maybe less of a question and more, it's a question, I guess, anyway. I often feel that, whenever men and women try to come together in like relationships, I feel like women typically, I don't say fall in love, but like they get a lot of emotions based on, sort of how the effort level they feel from the other guy. Like, does he really care about me, or is he really interested? Does he have my time? Does he make time for me? Does he treat me well? And things like that. I don't know if that's a question, but I've always sort of felt that. Do you think that that plays a big role?
Pretty much for me though, I think everyone wants to feel respected, appreciated. They want to feel valued, right? If you take like two people, for example, where there's one person who calls you every day, those are the things that you actually want and you yearn for, and if there's another one that doesn't, you're definitely gonna automatically, tilt towards the one that does that. Women are emotional. I'm not saying that men are not. However, for me personally, I would say what I have experienced is, obviously I want to feel loved. I want to feel special. When a man shows you that affection, it's easier to like gravitate towards like loving easily. I asked my spouse this question as well, and he said something. He's like, probably men are moved by what they see first. Women actually moved by what's it called? You know, what they hear, and you know how they feel. So there's that. That's why we talk about like affirmation. If you pick like 10 women and ask them their love language, I can almost bet that 9 of them will want that affirmation. They want their spouse to tell them, "You look beautiful today. You know, you're special. Do you realize that that outfit made you look in a special way?" They love the gift. They want to feel valued, and I think that's there for men. But for a man, kind of wants to feel respected. He wants to feel like the machismo thing, right? You know, I'm leading my home. You know, I'm the head of the home. That kind of thing. That comes naturally for a man. So when a woman experiences the feeling of love and the feeling of being special, I think it's easier for her to gravitate towards that person, because even when she thinks, oh my goodness, the butterflies, you know, he called me today, or he sends me this, you know, he tells me all those nice things, you know, that I want to hear. At times, you know, my husband keeps saying, "Oh, it's all cliche," you know, and I'm like, fine, it's like cliche to you, but that affirmation, it's big and it's huge from the perspective of a woman. So that's a key point you need to take note of.
I will put that into my notes.
That's right. Affirmation is a big one.
A for affirmation.
That's right. Yeah. It's a big deal as well. So yeah, it's that. I don't think there's any more. Do you have any more questions or anything for me before we round up? Because it's been a good one. Okay, you have one more question.
I have a question. My question is, you're living in North America. Is it easier to get connected with people here, or is it more difficult? And what's the difference? Like, if you want to have a very active social life, meet people, you know, removing the weather and all the challenges that's there, is it the same? Do you have to do the same things?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's more difficult. There's no doubt about that. But I think also my situation is also a little different. So, you know, this might not apply to everyone, but for me, I moved here when I was already like my early 20s. You know, so it's different because back home I had like my elementary school, high school. You have that circle of
friends you've built over the years.
You have exactly, like, you know, your neighbors where you lived before, and then you have all those circles. So whenever like friends or cousins are doing things, you know, the events you go to.
That's right.
So you don't only meet your friends, you meet friends of people you know, right? So when I moved here, I had none of that. For sure, over time, of course, you begin to make some friends and have some small circles, but it's very different. Obviously, I think if you were born here and like you grew up through the school system, then it would be maybe the same or maybe easier, you know. But having moved countries, you know, like also at like 22, 23, most people have their friends.
Already, so
most people sort of have like their friend circles. So yeah, for me it's harder, but you know, that's my own experience.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Can I augment from the crowd here? Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I augment that? Do you think technology could have bridged that gap? Because nowadays people are meeting over the internet. So how could you have bridged that gap of, you know, the apparent you not growing up within the system here, not having that circle of friends that you may have garnered over your time in high school, etc. Could you have been able to use technology via the various apps now on display to connect to the wants, which then becomes the one?
So pretty much, so are you actually adopting, are you using technology?
I feel yes, but it's not the same, and it's better than nothing for sure. But because that's the thing with you know, having the circles of friends, it's organic. You know, I don't have to go to look for friends. We grew up together. I knew you through playing soccer in the pitch. It's organic. Those of us who had similar, you know, mindsets became friends. We kind of went it our own way. it's very different from when you need to go and make friends. Now that is no longer organic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously I think it's better than nothing, but I think that's just one of the limitations of technology. You take a lot out of the natural process, which, you know, it's sort of like right now, like, you know, working from home or working in the office. Even if you're doing the exact same job, sometimes when you're in the office, you have that, you know, that ability to like look the person in the eyes.
Yes, I know, the human connection.
The human connection.
There,
you know,
right?
once you look someone in the eye, sometimes you know, okay, this person believes me, or this person thinks I'm just, you know, blowing smoke. So
that's right.
putting it politely.
Yeah, like the eye is a window to the soul, right?
Exactly.
So you can feel, and people talk about the energy as well. When you sit with someone, you can already.
And yes, and like you said, with technology, it's better than nothing, but I think it's limited.
You know, absolutely. I think it's you're absolutely right. When it comes to technology, right, you try to use that, and we need to keep striving every day. Thank you so much, Dominic. It definitely was an interesting conversation. I appreciate your time. Any final words at all before we go?
No, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to be on the channel. I hope everyone was able to pick something. I'd love to be back another time.
Absolutely. Thank you all once again. I appreciate you. Once again, this is Essence by Fola, taking you a step closer to creating the life you have always wanted. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share this with a friend. This could just be a conversation that could change the perspective of someone out there. So do that and have yourself a good one. For now, remember, keep pursuing your dreams because nothing really is impossible. Have yourself a good day.